Hi, I'm Ken Jr. and welcome to Train World TV. Here you'll find the latest and greatest in model trains. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new to our channel, we're glad you're here, and I invite you to click the subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you'll never miss a video. Now, we'd also love to send you exclusive deals and special announcements that you won't find anywhere else. So be sure to sign up for our emails, TW Text, and stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Now, you can find all the links in the description box below or trainworld.com. And without further ado, enjoy today's video. All right, and hello everybody, and welcome back from a hopefully long, enjoyable Labor Day weekend. And Christian has another action-packed Thomas Tuesday planned for us tonight. Lots of great stuff. A huge, big-time influencer with a ridiculous amounts of subscribers. Quite honestly, Christian, I think he's the most amount of subscriber influencer we've ever had on.
I think so, Ken. Yes.
Yeah.
The amount of subscribers Caleb's got is immaculate. And it's such a pleasure to have the opportunity to have him on here and to showcase his models and passion for Thomas altogether.
Amazing. And not only that, we also have Bachmann Trains, Doug Blaine, with a huge announcement because they just got back from the NMRA train show with some great new Thomas announcements that Christian, of course, he was giving me the bat phone call as soon as they posted online, and he said, Ken, did you hear this? So lots of good stuff, but I'll let you do a recap on what you got planned for tonight. But seems like a lot of good stuff, Christian.
Absolutely. So, of course, as always, welcome to Thomas Tuesday, everyone. I hope that everyone had a great Labor Day weekend and the rest of August. Hard to believe we're in September now of 2023. The year just keeps on flying by. But yes, we have so much planned this evening. Bachmann just came out with their NMRA announcements, and for a fact, Twitter blew up because, Doug, we were not expecting anywhere near the amount of products that just got announced. And I just saw nothing but positive comments across the board on social media. And we're going to be going over these products today in this stream, as well as going through the showcase of a few other products that Doug has in addition to that. So, Doug, how are you doing this evening?
Great. Thank you so much, Christian and Ken. And it's great to meet Caleb as well. And we had a little conversation before we started, and I know I'm going to count myself as a fan of Caleb's tonight as well.
And yes, CALEBTRAIN, as Ken stated, the man with over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Crazy.
How are you doing this evening, Caleb?
Oh, I'm chilling. I'm very happy to be here with you guys. Honestly, I'm a little starstruck right now.
No, the pleasure is all ours. I can't believe you have that many subscribers. That's wild.
Me either.
The passion of Thomas is there, Ken. It is there.
That's
and
right.
Caleb has made such incredible content throughout the years, inspiring countless people. Through calls I've had with other Thomas fans, so many times they reference CALEBTRAIN. I'm doing this project and I'm basing off of CALEBTRAIN's video or CALEBTRAIN's custom. And it's true. It's true. It's happened numerous times, Caleb. And the funny thing is you probably don't even know that this stuff happens, but it happens. And the snowball effect just keeps on going up and up and up. And the set, man, it looks absolutely stunning. And we are really looking forward to going through the PowerPoint that you generously planned for us this evening, as well as going through each model up close in person. So that's going to be awesome.
I can't wait.
All right. So should we start with the slideshow, or should we kind of show the Twitter stuff?
Why don't we start with the slideshow? Well, we'll first start with Caleb introducing himself first, as always, how he got into Thomas, and then we'll jump into the slideshow.
Okay, cool.
Well, yeah. Hi, I'm Caleb, and I've been a Thomas fan since I can't really remember. It's the typical story. My mom got, like a toy set when I was younger, and I just couldn't put it down. And I had the Tomy ones with the batteries in them, and I just loved watching them go around and around. And I think it was when I was in elementary school, I went to my local hobby store, and they had a Bachmann Thomas and Annie and Clarabelle set, and I was just completely mind blown. This looked like what I was seeing on the TV, and I begged and begged and begged for weeks for it. And one day, I was getting home from school at the bus stop, and it was in the back seat of the car, and that was just the greatest day of my life.
Can we do a timeout here? I just feel like his intro to that felt like one of those like children books. Like he begged and begged and wanted the train set so bad. This should be a Bachmann Thomas train set short story for kids. Doug, I don't know. I think Caleb's onto something.
We'll have to start work on that.
Yeah. All right, continue, Caleb.
And then the rest is history. After that, every birthday, every Christmas, it was a Bachmann engine was on the list, or a set or a piece of rolling stock, and over time the collection grew, and I was just having a ball.
Very cool. And how did it transition to like YouTube and social media and stuff like that?
Well, one of those Christmases, I asked for a video camera, and I think I was about 10 or 11, and I had this little layout in our basement, and I was just filming the trains going around, and I started putting these videos on YouTube, and they were about what you would expect an 11-year-old to make, but I was having a lot of fun, and I guess I kept doing it, and it worked out.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
I assume you have a new video camera since that first one.
Yes, I do. I wouldn't have trusted myself with the one I have now back then.
That's awesome.
And after all these years, what is it about Thomas that has kept you attached to it, as someone in your 20s now?
Yeah, it's not very typical, is it? But I think there's just something very wholesome about, the Thomas brand and these characters. And I think the show never talked down to you, so you never really felt like you aged out of it. It was just something that was always kind of there, and something that just kind of stays with you,
Absolutely. Well, I can attest to that for sure, especially a lot of the older seasons, right? Like seasons 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, the older stuff.
Based on what I love is that it's like the Brothers Grimm, based on real life events, in terms of like locomotives crashing, specific locomotive classes, specifically. And then on top of that, including these ideas of, scrap, or I guess in the steam engine's terminology, representing death, right? And diesel's taken over. There's a lot of personification beyond just the simple anthropomorphism of the locomotive itself,
Yes.
So it's amazing when you really dig into the lore of Thomas. It's more than just a children's franchise altogether. So
yeah, absolutely. And there's so much history there. This past summer I was lucky to go to the UK and visit the Telequin Railway, which is what the Scarloey engines are based off of. And it's just amazing to see all of these dedicated people working to keep this railway alive. And Thomas is a part of that history, and it's just really, really cool.
Definitely. Awesome. And here we are today with those stunning models on that stunning set. Well, I think that was a good time, Ken. We should pull up that PowerPoint, because I know Caleb worked really hard on that.
All right. Let me see if I could get him full screen here. Hold on one second. All right.
All right. Well, follow your passion, even if it's modeling Thomas the Tank Engine. So we kind of already did this, but these are some screenshots from the first videos I uploaded to YouTube, and from the start it was built on Bachmann, and again, they weren't very good. They're very cringy, and I think there's a clip we're going to hear later from one of these videos that I'm going to be dying when it plays. But yeah, that's where it started.
And Train Storm says PowerPoint. Yes. So basically, when all your teachers throughout the years show you PowerPoint presentation, Caleb has been putting it to good use now. Very cool.
So I started the channel in around like 2011, and I kept doing these videos with these trains, and I did get better as I went along. And in 2015, I was approached by a scout who was working on a project for Mattel where they wanted narrative-driven content for the Thomas YouTube channel, and they needed people with a specific set of skills. So I was, just very fortunate that I'd already been posting these videos, and they found me and a lot of other amazing, talented people in this fandom, and created this Thomas Creator Collective, making content on the official channel. And I have to say thank you, Doug, for making these Bachmann models, because I'm still freelancing for this company, even though the Mattel contract ended. So I still have a job because of, Bachmann trains.
That's awesome. Glad to hear it.
And obviously now I'm still doing YouTube. These are some screenshots from some of my newer videos. And I'm just having a really good time, honestly. This past year, my friends and I have been getting into 3D printed models. So most of the engines you see here use 3D printed components, but they're still built on the Bachmann chassis, and they use Bachmann parts inside of them. And it's just like really kind of building on the fandom talent.
How big is the set that you use to create these videos?
Right now, the space I'm in my friend's grandma's garage, so she's very kind to let me use this space. But the board I'm using right now is 8x8, but before I was on a 4x8.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a lot of railroading and video in a relatively tight space. That's great work.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very jealous of people like Christian, who has, a layout in his basement. Like I could if I wanted to now set up a loop of the engines going around, but because I do productions, I build sets, by location. So I never get to sit down and, watch them go around. So I'm very jealous, Christian.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I'm jealous of you for having the patience to do such incredible realistic sets, take them down, and then put them back up again, and take them down and put them up again, because that is really impressive. Because I don't think I'd have the patience to go through that.
I was gonna say, so you, for all these different sets, you set them up and then take them down right after? Wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I don't glue anything down, so that kind of speeds things up.
Wow, crazy.
So I'll run through some of the models that I've been working on, but before I do that, I just have to, give credit where credit's due. This fandom, runs in so many talented people, and these 3D body shells were made by the LBSE Thomas and also Janos Tranos, and the faces are made by Executions, the Chairlord, and Sojourn Junction, and of course printed by my friend, the Train Modeler, and my friend Greens Trains. So here we have Thomas. This was very much the prototype for the rest of the engines that I built. He uses the Bachmann Thomas chassis with Donald and Douglas wheels swapped in. And I've also thinned the side rods because I don't have to comply with choking hazard laws. And yeah, it was a really big learning curve because I wanted to do the lining with like spray paint and masking. So as you can see in that photo there, like I had to put tape all over to, basically mask off anything I didn't want to be red. So you can see Thomas here. And he doesn't have a lamp right now, but he's got an empty bunker, so I can put coal in. So, if he tips over, it can fall out. And Yeah.
Love it.
Got to
It
plan
looks like,
ahead for dumping coal. I love it too.
say it looks like the prop, in so many ways.
And that's the goal, kind of, just to emulate, a lot of that charm of the original TV props.
Mhm.
But that's Thomas. And this model actually did get to visit Christian's layout, as you can see
Yeah.
there.
Actually, Ken, you
He's
have the clip if you want to play it now. I know you probably have 10 million tabs opened up, but now would be a good time.
The Twitter one?
Yes, the Twitter one.
Okay. And
Well,
it
actually,
does,
there's two Twitter ones that I sent.
all right. Sounds or
make-
no sounds?
We can do sound, if possible.
Hold, hold on. See
Yeah,
if
let's
we
make sure
can-
it's the right one and not the other one that I know Caleb's waiting to cringe for.
Ken's got that operation center going. There we go.
That's
one?
it. Yes,
All
that is it.
Yeah, so there he is running on Christian's layout.
I don't know what you got to say.
Yeah, and thanks again for encountering that long car drive, Caleb. There's a whole story behind that, Ken, when they came to visit over the summer. Going back home, they got stuck in Manhattan.
Oh, no.
Caleb.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a
man.
very long story, but in the end, we were up for 24 hours and we were just stranded.
Gosh.
Oh,
But
man.
Christian, I'm so like that layout, that fishing village. Wow.
Oh,
I hope to
thanks.
do something that great.
Thank you. Well, I had my old man's help, so without him, it probably wouldn't have been possible because I was like 15 or something when we built that. So
Yeah, it's just amazing. And
Yeah,
that's
Christian.
probably like, the biggest stretch of the wheels that model's gotten in a long time. Because it's the same model I've been using for years, but of course, on a 4x8 board, he can only go so far.
yeah. Well, you're always welcome. You're always, as long as I'm there at least. Well, right now I'm in Indiana, but when I'm back there, you're always welcome.
Thank you.
Very, very cool. All right.
Thomas got to run free for a little while there.
Yeah,
Then-
he did.
Christian, you want to see the other video or keep on going with the
No, keep on
slideshow?
going. The other one's for later.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. And we're back.
All right. So yeah, Thomas got to travel. And then next up for the models, we have Percy. And Percy was a very special one because he was made in a collaboration with Greenstrains, who did all of the chassis work for me. And he actually designed a new crosshead and piston set for him. So that was really amazing. And I've got Percy here. So you can see he's got that lovely chassis that's been done up. And
Beautiful.
Some nice rust weathering on the side rods there too.
yes, thank you. That's something I'm pretty notorious for, is weathering. And I wasn't very good at it in my early days. If you scroll back to some of my early videos, the Bachmann engines are they've got these black streaks on them because I wanted them to look realistic. But yeah.
I used to love that, Caleb. I used to love that. As much as you cringe, it's true.
Well, I guess cringe is a sign of growth. But yeah, that's Percy. And James is a really interesting one. He had a lot of complications during his build. You can see in that one photo in the middle there's a hole by his firebox. And that was because I was putting in his handrail knobs and I pushed a little too hard and it just, shattered that. And, doing these finicky little models is just, it takes a lot of patience. And when something like that happens, it's just kind of devastating. So I had to kind of step away for a while, and then I had to ask Brendan for help to fix that. And he was really kind and kind of walked me through that. Um, the chassis is actually made from the Busy Bee James instead of the red one because, again, I do not claim to be a professional by any means. So when I was taking apart the chassis, I accidentally cut the wire that connects to like his base plate, and I don't have a soldering iron, so I had to cannibalize the Busy Bee James to let the red James live. And by the way, Busy Bee James is one of my favorite products. I'm so happy that exists.
Excellent. So how, if I, not to digress here, but how did you fix the hull?
Oh yeah, of course. So basically, the method was I had to mask everything, around it. Like the gold lining was already on. Like he was already done except for that. So I had to mask off everything else. And then basically the method was I had to take a piece of paper, cut a hole in it, and then spray the spray paint through the hole in the paper onto the model so that it wasn't so layered when it got to that point. Because otherwise, if I took off the masking tape from a straight application, there would have been like noticeable ridges where the paint and like the tape met.
Right.
So and I used filler to fill the hole. Should say
good
that.
technique.
Yeah. And here is James.
A little spackle.
He also uses Donald and Douglas wheel replacements, just because I think they look so nice. And I should say the models for their lamp irons, I use like sewing pins, and I just cut them and paint them black. And you can also kind of see in the back here, I do glaze like plastic in the windows. It just, I don't know, it gives them a little something extra.
What do you use to glaze them?
Oh, it's not like a real glaze, like just like it's cut plastic, like from packaging or something.
Huh.
And then James's tender is actually also made from Edwards tender. Just I thought it looked really nice. It has that nice detail on the axle boxes, and yeah. So that's James.
Awesome.
Edward is a unique one for this lineup because he is completely Bachmann. There is no 3D printed shell or anything for him. So that was just a repaint. Just because Edward's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Edward is my favorite Thomas character. So, I love this model to death, like even before I did the custom. And there is the man himself, based on their executions. And again, the tender is open for, Cole to go crazy if he goes off the rails, as is likely to happen on my channel.
Yeah.
But I never know where to put these models on the camera. But yeah, there he is.
Beautiful. And I love the faces. I can't get over how crisp the faces look.
Oh, I'm so lucky that, these people make these like 3D models and like make them available to people. Like that's so awesome.
Yeah.
And then there's Henry. Henry was the first big engine I did, with like a valve gear and such. And I struggled a little bit just with the taking it all apart and then trying to put it back together the right way. I didn't do it right the first time, but I got there in the end. Not much else to say there. Henry is he uses Gordon's pistons actually. I was doing all of these models at the same time, so I had they were both taken apart at the same time, and Gordon's pistons were just like more accessible at that point, so they're swapped.
And Caleb, you took pictures when you were building these things?
Yep, I took a lot of documentation when I was doing them.
Good for you. Most people just give it a run. They don't think about documenting the process.
Yeah, I guess that's something I learned from college. I went to an art school, and they're
cool.
always saying document everything. So I guess it's just a habit.
Okay, cool.
Smart.
But you can see him here. There's Henry. And, ooh, nope, other way. It's always mirrored. There he
Now,
is.
remind me again, what did you do for the side rods? Because they look really good.
So those are just the Bachmann rods, just thinned down with the Dremel tool.
I see.
So I
Wow.
just, when I took them all apart, I just shaved them down one by one and then put them
Gotcha.
back on. And I also, this is just so extra, but like there's sometimes in the models, like especially some of the later Bachmann models, they have that really great groove like in the middle of the side rod. And so I took a Dremel tool and kind of tried to make that groove myself. It's a little rudimentary, but from a distance, it's all right.
Yeah.
How long did it take to pare down the side rods and the valve gear like that? I would imagine that was rather time consuming.
Yeah, it took a few hours. It probably would have been
Wow.
faster, but because it's metal and I'm grinding, with a metal bit on metal, it gets quite hot. So I would have to stop because it would just get too hot for my hands.
Understood. Patience required.
Yes, very much so.
Christian's on Home Depot right now ordering a Dremel.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely need to do that at some point myself. I mean, it's great. It's just extra layer of realism, when you thin down those side rods. So
Cool.
I might consider that myself.
Yeah. Duck is another fully Bachmann model. Again, he looks awesome. Um, there wasn't a whole lot here really, except for that this was the first model I tried water slide transfers for. I thought it was going to be this huge, crazy thing, and it was really not that complicated. So I was glad I did it. I also opened up his cab just by, again, dremeling it away and cutting it open. So you can see through there.
I love that, man. The separately fitted handrail looks so good too.
Thank you. And Duck has got the one screw link that I've got loose for the back, so he's the holder of it for now. I kind of interchange it between the engines depending on who's in shot. I need to get more of them.
Caleb, I'm looking at the chat right now, and people are debating over which of your customs is the best.
Oh,
They're all the best. That's the
ah.
right answer.
Duck was probably one of the easiest ones, so he's maybe the best in that regard.
Yeah, everything that pops up, they say this is the best. This is the best.
That's the best.
And then lastly, we've got Gordon. Again, another big engine, another challenge. This time I was a little bit more prepared to go into it, except for the fact that, again, these are, I've been using the Bachmann models that I've been using for years. And Gordon, I guess, had taken a beating because he was having a problem with his internal gears. Like there were some teeth missing inside so they weren't interlocking, and he wasn't able to move even though his motor was getting power. So I had to go running and crying to Brendan, asking him to fix it. And he was very kind and did it for me. So I'm very grateful to have his friendship.
You're the man, Brendan. He's in the chat, so gotta say it.
So here is Gordon, and this is like the latest model I've done. And he's a little loose. You can see his body's kind of jumping up a bit, but there he is. And with these 3D printed shells, it's a little bit difficult because they don't quite fit the nice tender coupling anymore that the default model has. So I used a bread tie to make that connection.
Oh wow.
And that is all of the models.
It's amazing. People use bread ties, clothing pins, all these different, everyday, pieces that you would never think of, for these models, and it does the job,
Yeah, I mean, if it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid.
Yeah.
So here's the dark side of 3D printing. It is definitely not as sturdy as, an off-the-shelf Bachmann model. the buffers on Gordon on both ends snapped at separate times, and they're fixed now, but it's, a cautionary tale.
See.
So I have a few slides in here just about, building sets for videos. If I know a lot of people in Thomas fandom like to make videos with these models, and I thought I would just share some of the things I've learned that have helped me. So number one is the camera's eye is the only one that matters. As you can see in these two photos, this is the same set, and on the right is the actual camera shot, and on the left is an aerial view of what that set actually looked like, which is not great, but from the camera's perspective, it works.
Yeah.
And so it really helps to, obviously if you've got a scene where you're going to be, kind of all over the place, you're going to want a more holistic approach. But if you're just going to see a location for maybe, one or two shots, then just build only what you're going to see from the camera's perspective. And if you put the camera down and then, kind of look at that frame and build, keep looking back and forth and keep building, then you're going to build a much stronger composition versus, building a set and then kind of pointing and shooting and trying to find a good angle.
Mm.
So just being purposeful in what you're building for specifically for the camera.
Yes, 100%. And this, this doesn't quite apply for layouts, because when you have, a giant layout, everything's got to look great.
Right,
But
right.
for videos, you can kind of get away with a little bit more.
Interesting perspective.
Number two is dirt is your friend. I would say dirt is probably my favorite resource. And I live in Minnesota, so there's snow on the ground 9 months out of the year. So I need to do this soon actually, but I'll go out and harvest some dirt that I can use when there's snow outside and I can't get into the ground. But I say this because, when you think of building a model railroad, you think of the grass, the trees, and the tracks, and the ballast, but you don't really think about the dirt underneath. And having the dirt under, especially if you add a layer of grass on top of that, really adds another level of just richness to the set. And I use it pretty much everywhere. And on that note, just in adding richness to the set, using different tones as well, different colors. So green, there isn't just one green. And using yellow accents and browns, just, there's a lot of color in, just landscapes that you wouldn't really think there would be.
Definitely. Yeah, I remember, when I was scenic king parts of my layout, and I was getting the woodland scenics turf, and I just got the normal green grass color. I looked at it. I mean, for a first job, it looked good, but it looked very two-dimensional. So then I went back and I got coarse turf and fine turf of a different shade of green and brown turf and all this stuff. And it's amazing. The more shades you add, the more it comes to life. So I can definitely, say I've been there myself.
Yes, I love, all the different turfs and kind of making a landscape rainbow, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Caleb, if we get some calls from some mothers out there saying, why are my kids digging up the dirt in the back, they may blame us.
Yeah, obviously, dirt that you have legal access to.
Yeah.
Don't dig up your neighbor's lawn.
Well, Ken, I got to confess something right now. I don't think I ever shared this on Thomas Tuesday, but I did confess this to some of my friends. The sand on the sand by the coastal area of my layout, which is real sand. I went to an elementary school that was very close to my house, went into the playground or the sand pit, whatever it was, literally took a jar, put a bunch of sand in there and brought it home and then glued it all down on my layout. That's the story behind the beach area of my layout. Seriously.
Christian,
I'm not
sand
joking.
heist.
Not tell anyone at that school where that sand came
yeah,
from.
we got to delete this video afterwards. I did see some posted flyers missing sand from Sandbox.
Listen, for the record, that was over 10 years ago.
You're probably good then.
Yeah.
So
Statute of limitations is over.
So
Yeah.
dirt is your friend. Be creative. All right.
Yeah. And the last tip I have here is elevation. So, again, when you're building, a set, you're probably just going to put track down on the board and then just kind of, roll out the mat, put the track down, and it's all just kind of flat and on one level. But adding elevation, and this applies to layouts as well, adds just a new dimension of interest. And it can be as simple as even just the track is raised up from the ground level. It makes a huge difference. And, again, I'm from Minnesota. We don't have hills here. I didn't know what one was until middle school. Joking. But, it really makes a big difference. And again, just adding that visual interest in like different ways. So like not only elevation, but also like, track plans. So, instead of just, a linear straight, why not have a switch or like an S curve or, crossing over, like just finding ways to make it more interesting. Always push it.
Right.
Awesome.
And if Bachmann hasn't done it yet, make it yourself. So here you can see some of the structures I've made that are custom. These are built from foam and balsa wood and keychain rings and anything I can get my hands on, popsicle sticks, you name it. But I love, like, some of my favorite Bachmann products are the resin buildings. I use this water tower in just about every shot, like anything I film. And I love the buildings, but there aren't enough of them, so I've built some of my own.
Very neat.
That switch tower looks awesome, elevated like that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that one was kind of a tricky one because there's some ornate details in some of the offshoots from the main beams, and I didn't really know how to approach that. But what I ended up doing was using these like little keychain rings and then kind of grounding those with a bent paper clip to make that kind of arch. So again, it's just finding those everyday solutions.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Love it. See, Doug,
Thanks.
gotta make more buildings. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question on the videos? So do you storyboard them? Are they in your head? How do you plan for all the shots you're going to need for a particular video?
I should do I should do more storyboarding, and I used to when I was younger. But now a lot of times I do kind of have a vision in my head of what I want this to look like. And I'll set my camera down and I'll plan out a few shots, and then I'll kind of build the set around that, and then I'll just kind of go from there. And when I'm filming, there will be like a spontaneous shot, like something I didn't plan, but it'll just feel natural while I'm filming.
That's the benefit of experience. You don't need to do the storyboarding as much as you used to. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, and sometimes one of the last videos I did was this like James runaway and crash, and for that this is something I hadn't done before, but I had the audio for it done ahead of time, and so I really knew exactly where all of these moments were going to hit, and so it was actually really nice working that way. I recommend it. I'm going to do it more myself.
Interesting.
And I also wanted to ask, what did you use for your sky behind you? Because I love that.
Don't look at it. It's wrinkled.
Oh, yeah.
So this sky is one that I painted in Photoshop, and then I ordered a vinyl print of it.
Huh.
And
I
as you
see,
can
okay.
see, I've had some logistical issues hanging it because it's still not quite there yet, but I'll get there.
Very neat.
I love it.
This is CALEBTRAIN's YouTube channel here, and as you can see, the amount of subscribers is unbelievable, and amount of views and everything is just crazy, just amazing. Almost 300,000 on this one video just 3 months ago. Really neat stuff.
Yeah, it's follow your passion. If you told me that I would still be making these Thomas videos when I was 12, I would probably be like, what? That's awesome, but what? But it's, again, like I said, it's the reason I still have a freelance job with that one company right now. and it's opened so many doors to friendships and just, getting to know people and collaborating with amazing artists. And, it's just amazing, really.
Absolutely.
And Christian, do you want to show the other video?
Oh.
The one of Caleb when he was younger, or the
Yeah.
one that I attached of me going to grad school?
The Caleb first.
Well, that's supposed to go along with the announcements. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we'll
Yeah.
wait for that. Okay.
So yeah, Caleb's got a few more minutes to relax.
Okay. Very cool.
Sounds like you're not out of the woods yet, Caleb.
Not yet.
All right. Well, Caleb, that's tremendous. I mean, you really are a professional videographer. Just the scenes that you make and the videos that you create, it really looks like it came from Mattel themselves.
Thank you. I mean, experience is the greatest teacher, I guess.
How'd you learn how to do the videos? I know you got the camera, but at school, did you learn about like the video production and stuff like that, or it was just trial by error on like different programs like a Mac or something?
A bit of both. When I first got the camera, it was really just kind of, figuring it out on my own. But in school, like, we did have some limited, like, video classes where you make a video with your friends in class. And I think that was helpful for me. And then what was really helpful was college. As I said, I went to an art school and I got my degree in animation.
Oh.
But I also took a lot of film classes during that. And that was really game changing for me, learning staging and framing and composition and all of that good stuff. But a lot of that information, you can learn it on the internet, so be self-driven.
Very cool. Good for you.
Good message.
All right. Anything else for Caleb, Christian?
No, and I was just gonna say the same thing. It's incredible. Those models, and just thank you so much again for coming on Thomas Tuesday and setting up a PowerPoint too, because like that took extra time and effort on your end. And it's awesome seeing the model, but then also have a PowerPoint going along. That's just a nice cherry on top of everything else. So.
No problem. I mean, thanks for having me. And I'm a visual learner, so I hope it was helpful for people watching.
Absolutely. And with that, to 400K.
That's right. That's right. Caleb, excellent job. And I think a lot of people watching definitely look up to you and look up to your channel. And hopefully they could grab some tips from the master yourself. So great job, Caleb, and keep up the great work.
Thank you very much.
I'll just add to it, terrific work, terrific insights. Thank you.
Very neat.
Much appreciated.
And with that, that's going to be hard to top after going through Caleb's whole series and everything. But Christian has actually veered off to college. Well, technically not college, but off to more schooling.
Grad school, yeah.
Grad school. Yeah. And he is actually not at home, New York. He is so dedicated to the Thomas fandom that he is doing it from a new undisclosed location. We can't say where he is on camera, but we
it's okay.
It sounds like an underground bunker somewhere.
But,
just somewhere in the Midwest, we'll say.
But we actually wanted to document Christian leaving off to school, so we have a nice quick video here for everyone in the chat. So let's watch this quick video. So this is Christian. He came to the Trainland store, and he was very upset that he wasn't going to be close by, but he said the Thomas fandom, Thomas Tuesday must go on, and this is where it goes. Yeah. So,
I,
so
I
Chris,
thought the hand was going to come out the window to put it on top of the roof to hold it down for the entire trip to the Midwest.
And for the record, I did not actually transport my banner on the roof of my car like that.
yes, Christian forgot to strap the banner down, and he didn't make it too far.
Driving through all of New Jersey, all of Pennsylvania, all of Ohio, and the list goes on.
That's great.
But yeah. So everybody in the chat, give Christian a big thank you, because it was very important for him to keep these Thomas Tuesdays going. So while he's still in school and grad school, he will be continuing the Thomas Tuesday. So big thank you to Christian for keeping these live streams going.
And the pleasure is mine. And like that day, that last day I saw you, we did that funny bid. I was like, begging on my knees, please, 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 make sure Thomas Tuesday continues. I need this escape from everything going on here once a month.
That's it.
Well, I think with your dedication, it will continue.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a commitment.
That's right. All right.
Well, that was a funny little intermission, Ken. But I think that the real meat and potatoes after the first meat and potatoes, which was Caleb, is to go on to these incredible new product announcements by Bachmann Trains.
Yes.
All right, Doug, now you're up. So do you want me to share, or you want to talk first?
I think you can probably share. I mean, you already said we had made these announcements. I guess it was 2 weeks ago now at the NMRA convention in Texas. May I say Texas is hot. Average temperature 104, 105. When I saw we got there, we're driving from the airport to the hotel. When I saw tents, like semi-permanent tents, put over all the cars in the car dealership to protect people from the sun and the heat, I said, this is going to be really really a hot week. But anyway, one day we were there, it was up to 108. But
wow.
The people of Texas, I had been dealing with that all summer, so my sympathy goes out to them on dealing with that heat wave. At any rate, it was a great show. Met a lot of terrific people at the show, including Thomas fans and everyone. It was just great to talk with, and it's always a great occasion. So you have our brochure up there from the NMRA.
Yeah.
Are you concentrating on Thomas, or are we doing everything? Because I don't really have.
Yeah. No, we'll scroll down
Actually,
to the Thomas. But
actually, Ken, before you even roll to the first Thomas page, I think now is the perfect time to roll up that other clip.
Oh no,
Because
I think we're good actually.
I think this is the time, Caleb. And listen, I had my cringy moment of me looking like a dork going into my car, and now it's your turn.
Oh.
Wait, is there volume, Ken?
I gotta exit out and redo it for the volume. So hang tight. Hold on. We give it 1 second.
You're torturing Caleb just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I just want it to be over.
And if Bachmann ever comes out with Stanley, I'll be ready. And if Bachmann ever comes out with Stanley, I'll be ready.
Wow.
It's a short clip.
So
I used to use those remotes as the sound effects for the engines. So.
he may have been predicting the future. You never know.
I think it was he was the Nostradamus for Thomas the Tank.
There you go. And Doug, you don't have to go through all the new announcements, but I just wanted to show everybody the top of the NMRA releases that you had at the show. And just so everybody knows, Bachmann just doesn't sell Thomas the Tank trains or model trains. They sell all kinds of model trains: G scale, HO, O, N scale, ON30. They have tons of different model trains. So if you're looking to I guess do a different scene, a more model train scene or something else, Bachmann has tons of different trains in stock and available, and new announcements as well that we have been posting throughout the week. But without further ado.
And this entire brochure is available on the Bachmann website.
Perfect.
So the downloadable PDF if you want to see everything as well.
Very cool. And lots of new announcements. You could grab this PDF at their website. And here we go.
All right. So as predicted by Caleb, in what year?
Must have been 2011.
2011.
Oh, wow.
There is Stanley. So we've announced Stanley in our HO line for next year. And reaction to this locomotive was very good. And as a character that's been needed and wanted. So I'm happy to deliver on that. So as usual, it will, for the HO scale line, it will of course have moving eyes. And I look forward to seeing Stanley in a video sometime soon. Maybe to help drive that viewership up just a few more in number.
You can count on it.
Sounds good.
And just so everybody knows, Stanley, we were able to get pricing from Bachmann on this, so we are taking pre-orders right now. It is listed. It should be listed up on our website, and we should be taking pre-orders as we speak. Hopefully, right, Christian? Are we?
Absolutely, yes. I
Okay,
just checked
good.
the brochure this morning, and you asked me to check the scaling and such. It is
Okay.
it is up. It is up.
Very
And
good.
I'm looking at the chat, Ken. Nothing but positive, crazy comments. Welcome, Stanley. Welcome, Stanley. Welcome, Stanley. Which was his
Awesome.
popular slogan in his debut special, The Great Discovery, in 2008. So
Very cool. Stanley is cheerful, compassionate tag catcher. Very cool.
He's a good guy.
All right.
All right, and next we have our 12-ton vans. There was some questions on the basis of this, and it will be based on the same design as our large-scale 12-ton van. So it's just a nice new car style to add to the wagon line. And some of the decorations, I think you can see there's a Funfair blue and Funfair red, which, it's just nice, colorful additions, and also a separate sale Christmas van, which we have not had separate sale Christmas items before, so this will be a first one for that. Again, it'll be a nice addition for rolling stock variation, and so you can have different types of wagons in your roster.
amazing. And Ken, before we go on, I just got to say real quick, Doug, fans for years have been wanting those Funfair vans, so it's just awesome to finally see those added to the line. And I just got to say, back in February, we were talking about these as a suggestion with the N-Skill guy.
Yeah.
And you were saying, oh, those are going to be a little hard for us, Christian. And now they're in the brochure.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. I remember that. So Doug, did it kind of sync up at the same time, or you had this pre-planned?
Frankly, I really don't remember the sequence. So I am going to give you 100% credit for bringing it up for N scale, and we just morphed it into HO, so you get the credit.
Very cool. Very cool.
Dreams are coming true all over the place.
That's
yeah.
It. So everybody listening and commenting and sending all these suggestions, keep on doing it. Keep on the engagement and keep up the activity, because some of these ideas may work out. So keep them coming. And but this was neat. I think I remember, and I was actually just gonna say and cut in. I think I remember Christian really wanting these and excited for it several months ago. So that's awesome to see.
Yeah, because Chris had them in N scale. If you remember, he was a guest back in February, and he did an incredible job. They were custom painted and such in N scale too, with stars and everything. I remember Doug was asking questions, and then we were like, "Doug, gotta make these, man." And sure. So I remember I opened this up. My friend Charlie sent me the brochure when it was just up, and I was like, "Wait, these are in? This is actually official?"
Very cool.
It is indeed. So
Amazing.
well, we customer requests, we try and do whatever we can. Of course, we can't do everything, but I'm happy this is working out the way you want it.
And all four are listed taking pre-orders now. We do have pricing from Bachmann, so they are taking pre-orders as we speak. So make sure if you're interested in any of these paint schemes, make sure you grab them. Doug, I'm assuming this Christmas wreath won't be ready for this Christmas, correct?
No, these are all 2024.
2024. Okay, perfect.
Yep. So we got a way to go on these. All right, and this is for our HO scale narrow gauge, the addition of Duncan, which I think was probably not a surprise necessarily, but it's needed to complete the main characters in the narrow gauge for the narrow gauge railway. So it was a natural addition, and looking forward to Duncan joining the narrow gauge lineup.
Awesome.
Yeah, this announcement rocks.
Yeah, rock and roll.
Yeah, there we go.
Very neat. Duncan is a highly opinionated narrow gauge engine.
He is going all the way back to season 4, Ken. When Caleb and I were kids, we used to watch him on TV all the time, getting derailed, giving Rusty a hard time. He was quite the character.
Doug, who's in charge of putting the bios on the figures?
Those are direct from Mattel.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I think the figures may have something to say about that.
The figures?
Yeah, Duncan may take that a little personal.
Oh. Yeah, well, we wouldn't presume to make up a character description like that. That comes from Mattel, so there's no issue there at all.
I think Duncan may take some offense to him being highly opinionated.
He may agree with that.
Very cool.
All right, so then we're also doing the narrow gauge gunpowder wagon. So we know this is a bit of an older reference in the series and shows, but it's just a natural for mining operations. For the Skarloey Railway, and thought it just had to happen. So we're coming out with the gunpowder wagon in the Diffuse It paint scheme, which is so classic, and then two solid color versions, the gray and the tan, as you see there. But
Yeah.
It just seemed like it had to be for a mining operation.
Yeah, can I just say, oh my God, Doug, when I saw that in the brochure, I skipped like 3 heartbeats. I mean, Caleb can attest to this too. I mean, this is from season 4 when we were kids, in the early 90s and early 2000s, and just to see this announced as a Bachmann product is absolutely incredible, these days. So as an older fan, I'm super ecstatic about this one.
Terrific.
It's an especially explosive combo with Duncan.
Yes, that's a good point. And I love, and the pun is hilarious. Defuse it, gunpowder. You ever notice that? Defuse. So.
It's a fun product to add to the line.
Very neat.
All right, and then next is another classic for Bulgy the Bus, and
Wow.
as you know, we have Birdie, so we thought Birdie needed a little company on the roads, and it's nice to have the double decker planned, and it's just part of a classic accessory, an extra character. So we think this will do well and will be appreciated for adding some extra details to HO railways.
Awesome.
100%.
Super excited. Caleb, you were about to say something? Sorry, I think I cut you
Oh,
off.
no, I was just saying 100%. I will be getting a Bulgy.
Yeah, me too.
The chat is going wild. I can't even keep up picking which post to post. It's crazy. Everybody's going crazy. This is a lot of announcements, Doug.
Absolutely. As I said, this brochure is available at the Bachmann-trains.com website. So just download it for review at your leisure. And then when you're ready, we have a couple of end scale announcements as well.
Very neat.
That's on page 12. There we go. So needed to add some diesel to the N scale line, and diesel naturally and Paxton were natural choices. Probably, I don't think that would be too surprising for us to add these at this point. But we wanted to add the diesel to the steam offerings we already have. So, and these are just classic characters, and we've had them obviously in HO and large scale. So we know they'll be welcome in the N scale line as well.
Yeah, it's going to be so cool to see that chassis in particular at that scale, Doug. I cannot wait to see that in the flesh.
Yeah, I've grown to love these diesel styles over the years. There's more characters we can do in the future with this shell style, and they're just fun characters.
And just so everyone knows, we do have pricing on Paxton and Diesel for N scale. So get your pre-orders in now on those two if you're interested.
And they've infiltrated every range, haven't they? HO, large scale, and now N scale.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing.
And then another natural addition is Gordon's Express coaches, both composite and brake styles. And when we're coming out with Gordon, of course, he needs his coaches behind him. So again, just a nice extension to the line for passenger service and what Gordon needs. So this was an easy one as well.
Awesome. And just out of curiosity, a more technical question, of course, but are these going to be like the HO models scaled down?
To be determined.
Okay. Got it.
That's, yeah, we have to do a little bit more planning on that. So whatever we do, I think you're going to like them though. But I know the issue that you're probably alluding to. So we're going to figure out how to make it right and hopefully make everybody happy as well.
Awesome.
So that's it for new Thomas introductions from the NMRA show. But as you said, there was a lot there, and hope something for everyone. Probably need a little more G scale, but we'll have to save that for another time.
Wild. So that's a lot of announcements, Doug.
Absolutely. I do have a couple more things to show you if you're ready for them.
Yeah.
All right. These are previously announced, but I wanted to show you two products in package, and that's always a good sign. So this is a ventilated van, HO scale. Brenda Bay Shipping Company is now in packaging, so that's close for delivery.
Ooh,
as
nice.
well as Mr. Jolly's Chocolate Factory.
Sweet.
Getting 4 of those.
Sweet indeed for the Chocolate Factory. And then also, we had previously announced our Teleflin locomotives in narrow gauge, the 009 line. So we had announced the Fletcher, Jennings and Company Teleflin locomotives. And I have some painted samples of those. So I wanted to share those with you as well. Just for background, I guess, this is the original Scarloey basis that we used, the Teleflin locomotive was used for, and that the Thomas character was based on. So what we did to make the Teleflin versions was to remove the face, and we added a headlamp. So we have 3 different versions. I'm going to show you that to you. The first is a green version. This is the earliest version used on the Teleflin locomotives. This style of locomotive, by the way, was built for the Teleflin Railroad, and it has always existed on that railway, and it's still in service today. So it was actually built in 1864. Started on the Teleflin in 1866 and as I said, is still in use. So here's the earlier green version. So you can see that the face is replaced by a new smoke box door and the headlamp. So I'm going to try and the smoke box door. Let me know if it's not in focus. I think I'm pretty good there. I don't know how close I can go. But anyway, you can see the hinges and the latch and some of the detailing on the headlamp. So anyway, this is the green version. Trying to just get some flash off the paint work there. And there's going to be, as usual, there's always some tweaking here and there. So this is our first paint samples. And so that's green. Next in line was a black version in time order. So this is going to be a little harder to see just because of getting it to show up in this light. Oh, that's good. It's flashing pretty well there. All right, give it a full spin here.
Very
elegant.
Yeah,
and then
I was.
Lastly is the newest version, which is another red version, different red than Scarloey. All right. Coming around again. Oh, let me think about focus now. There we go. That's probably a little bit better. There we go. So, I personally miss Scarloey's face on this locomotive, but I know these styles will find a lot of good uses on narrow gauge 009 railways. There's definitely a call for them, and the reaction has been great so far.
very neat.
So that's all that's new from Bachmann.
Awesome.
Wow. Christmas came early.
Every month it comes early nowadays, Caleb.
We try and keep them coming. That's right. There's a lot of pressure with every month to have something new.
Doug is on fire.
Absolutely.
Very cool. That's awesome stuff. Tons of new product. I know Christian's going to get his pre-orders in going. And if you liked what you saw from Bachmann, we just posted a bunch today, and more is on the way of the new items, but we are taking pre-orders on a bunch of new Bachmann N-scale items and Bachmann Thomas items in general, but over 35 items on pre-order. The amount of pre-orders Gordon are unbelievable. It is crazy. Everybody wants to see Gordon and N-scale. It is just unbelievable. And as you can see, we listed Stanley today, so that's new and upcoming. These are the narrow gauge engines that Doug was referring to today, and lots of good stuff. Here's the Jolly's Chocolate Factory and the Brendan Bay, so make sure you get your pre-order in. These are those new Funfair and the van boxcars that he.
Oh yeah, getting me jumping around
today. That's it. And Toby's museum coaches. So lots of good stuff.
Those are both G scale, or large scale. Yep, for the museum coaches.
Very neat. So Christian, what do you like the most?
Oh my God, Ken. I thought it was hard enough last summer, but now it's very hard because every single announced product this summer is something I'm really looking forward to. I mean, I'm in love with Stanley because that's a product I never thought we'd get this day and age. So I think that's amazing. I love the Funfair vans. I love the Defuse It narrow gauge gunpowder van. That was way out of left field, and I'm looking forward to that so much. And of course, Duncan. That's another classic to wrap up the original 6 narrow gauge engines. Oh, and the N scale line, like that just keeps on growing exponentially. I remember talking with you, Ken, like it's doing really well, like that N scale line. So many people buy it just for display products.
Yeah.
And like Gordon, like the amount of pre-orders just keeps on going up and up and up.
Crazy.
So
I don't
yeah,
know if
basically everything but Stanley, the Funfair bands, Duncan, the Gunpowder band. It's hard to say.
Caleb, what did you like from the new announcements the most?
Well, I did wear white for Stanley.
Okay.
Well, from the clip you showed asking for Stanley so many years ago, I'm glad we could finally deliver for you.
Yes. Prayers are answered.
There you go. All right. Awesome stuff, as Trainstorm said as well. Christian, why don't you wrap it up? You did a great job tonight.
Thank you, Ken. So once again, as always, thank you, Caleb, so much for coming on this evening. It was such a pleasure to see all your models and to set up that amazing PowerPoint presentation, because you've inspired countless people. And there's definitely going to be young fans with parents who are watching the stream right now who are going to be inspired for the future to keep, the inspiration of Thomas just continuously going on. And Doug, thank you so much for showing the new product announcements. Again, when I saw that brochure 2 weeks ago, I skipped. I can't tell you how many heartbeats I skipped, but when I kept on scrolling down, I saw Stanley, the Funfair bands. Oh yeah, and Bulgy. I forgot Bulgy. My God, I'm super excited about that too. Bulgy and the defusable Gunpowder bands. Classic from when I was a kid. I just couldn't believe it. It's just thank you so much for going through them with us this evening as well, and as well as to show the latest samples of the Teleclone recoils. Because yes, there's been so much discussion on those too. So.
On behalf of Bachmann, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. Caleb, great to meet you, to see your awesome work. And Ken, thanks for a great show as always too.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Caleb. Tremendous jobs tonight. And Christian, thank you so much for keeping these going and driving the live stream banner all the way to the undisclosed location.
Not on the roof, by the way. Not on the roof. I rolled it up, put it in the trunk. It was secured.
We don't recommend trying it at home. All right.
Good work all around.
That's right. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And don't forget, make sure you get your Bachmann, Thomas, and Friends items at trainworld.com. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Caleb. And thank you, Christian. And have a great night, everybody.
Good night.